All right, if you're in the trenches of South Africa's fast food franchise world, listen up. This is your survival guide. We're going to talk about how you move from behind the fryer and step right into the ring.
So maybe you're already an owner, or maybe this question right here is the dream you're chasing. You see those golden arches, the flame-grilled logos, and you think, yeah, I can do that. But what does it really take to make it work today?
And the appeal is so powerful, isn't it? You're not starting from absolute scratch. You're buying into a model that's already been proven. You get instant brand recognition, a customer base that's already there, and basically turnkey operations. Plus, you get all the formal training and support. It's like a business in a box, and that is an incredibly attractive idea.
But then, reality hits. And boy, does it hit hard. Look at this number, 1,742. What is that? That's how many hours the average South African went without power in 2023. That's over 72 full days gone. Just darkness, lost sales, and the sound of your generator burning through cash.
So here's the bottom line. The dream is absolutely real, but the fight to protect that dream is tougher than it has ever been. This explainer, this is your toolkit. Think of it as your strategy guide for turning these huge, scary challenges into battles you can actually manage and win.
So let's start by laying out the battlefield. We're talking the dream versus the reality.
The operating environment right now, wow, it is a perfect storm. On one side, you've got your costs just skyrocketing because of things like load shedding and insane food inflation. And on the other side, your customers are being squeezed. They've got less money to spend. That means the competition for every single rand out there is just fierce. This is the daily reality.
So, how do you even begin to fight back? Well, it all starts with Pillar 1. You have got to master your numbers. This is about building your own financial dashboard for survival.
Forget feelings, okay? Forget your gut instinct for just a second. There's a saying that gets right to the point here. The numbers don't lie. A business that's driven by data is a business that can survive anything. Your numbers are going to tell you the truth, even when it's a truth you don't want to hear.
Okay, let's get super practical with this. Every single week, you should be looking at these 3 core numbers. First, the number of invoices, plain and simple. Are you serving more people? Second, your total sales compared to the exact same week last year. This tells you if you're actually growing. And third, payroll as a percentage of your sales. Labor is your biggest controllable cost, and this little number tells you if you've got it on a leash.
Now, what's really cool here is that this gives you the targets you should be aiming for. You can see them right here. Your food and your labor costs should each be somewhere between, say, 28 and 35% of your sales. Why there? Well, that's the sweet spot. That's what leaves you enough money to cover rent, royalties, marketing, and still have something left for yourself. And that cash reserve, having 3 to 6 months of expenses in the bank, that's the safety net that lets you sleep at night.
Okay, let's move on to Pillar 2, winning the ground war. This is all about the daily tactics you use on the front lines of your business.
The key to winning is knowing what you can control and what you can only react to. Look, you can't control national inflation or when load shedding hits, but what you can control is food waste, portion sizes, how you schedule your staff, and how you manage your inventory. So focus all your energy where you can actually make a difference.
Let's start with waste. It's a huge profit killer. Here are 3 things you can do right now. First, track it. Get a logbook and write down everything that gets thrown out. Knowledge is power. Second, train your team on portion control like it's a religion. Use scales. Use the right scoops. Consistency is what saves you money. And third, you have to live by FIFO. First in, first out. That just means you use the older stock before you open the new stuff. It'll slash your spoilage.
And now for the piece. Load shedding. It's all about mitigation. First, a reliable backup power system. A generator, a solar inverter, whatever. It's not a luxury anymore. It is essential for survival. Second, wherever you can, switch your cooking appliances to gas. And third, look for the simple wins. Just upgrading to LED lights can cut your lighting's energy use by a whopping 75%.
And that brings us to our final, and honestly, our most important pillar, protecting your biggest asset. And just to be clear, that asset is not your profit and loss statement. It's you.
Just be honest with yourself for a second. As you're running your business, putting out fires all day, every day, do any of these classic signs of burnout start to feel a little too familiar?
So what should you be looking for? Well, physically, it could be that deep fatigue that sleep just doesn't seem to touch. Emotionally, it's that constant feeling of being completely overwhelmed. Maybe you find yourself snapping at your team. Mentally, it's that brain fog, that feeling where you just can't make a clear decision.
And behaviorally, maybe it's pulling away from friends or leaning a little too hard on that extra cup of coffee to get through the day.
If any of that sounds familiar, the message here is crystal clear. In this kind of high-stress world, getting support isn't a luxury. It's not a sign of weakness. It's a strategic necessity for you and for the health of your business.
So what can you actually do? Start here. Build a network with other franchisees. Find people who really truly get what you're going through. Set firm boundaries, like protect 1 day a week where you don't even talk about the business. Delegate stuff that your team can handle. And please, prioritize your sleep. It is the ultimate performance enhancer. All right, let's bring this all together into what we're calling the fighter's mindset. This is your 3-point action plan for building some real resilience.
Here it is. This is your new mantra. Master your numbers every single week so you always know where you stand. Win the ground war every single day by controlling the things you can actually control. And protect yourself always, because your business is only as healthy as you are.
That's the framework. That's the plan for survival and for success. The dream of owning a franchise, it's still very much alive, but it belongs to the people who are prepared to fight for it. So the only question left is, are you ready to become one of them?